It's 2020 and the whole world has gone crazy. A lot of us are stuck inside under lockdown and we all need new games to play. Luckily, 2020 is shaping up to be a colossal year for gaming, which is why we found finalizing these picks harder than playing Dead Souls blindfolded. But anyway, this is our list of the most anticipated games of 2020. Also, I've noticed that 94% of you watching this video are not subscribed to the channel, so if you want good luck for the next 10 years, subscribe. Cyberpunk 2077, a game that pretty much everybody has been excited about for a while now. Basically, it's an open world RPG coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, the Series X and Stadia on September the 17th. That is, if they do not delay it again, because this game has been delayed time and time again. But hey, I mean, if delaying the game means we get a better product, I'm all for it. The game takes place in a dystopian place called Night City, a gorgeous but grimy open world with 6 distinct regions. It's also the latest game from CD Projekt Red, who are the gang responsible for the small indie franchise, you might have heard of it, called The Witcher, in which, by the way, if you haven't played that game, I definitely suggest you give it a try. Like, truly, that game is a masterpiece. And if you haven't watched the TV series on Netflix, give that a watch too. But yeah, CD Projekt Red's track record are pretty goddamn good. And being honest, it's one of the really small group of game companies that truly make great games back to back, which really makes me have high hopes for Cyberpunk 2077. And all the footage we've seen so far has only quadrupled the hype. It's also hugely inspired by films like Blade Runner, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a musician who isn't working on this game, with the finished product promised to feature tracks by everybody from Run the Jewels to Grimes and even A$AP Rocky. Oh, and if you somehow didn't know, the one and only Neo himself, Keanu Reeves, has a starring role in the game. You might recall that instantly iconic moment from last year's Game Awards when he swaggered out on stage and called us all breathtaking. And if that doesn't convince you to pick up the game, then I don't know what will. Seriously though, this game is shaping up to be, in my opinion, from what we've seen so far, a Game of the Year contender. And I will be doing an everything you need to know about this game very soon. So keep an eye out for that. On the 26th of June, Sucker Punch Productions will be bringing us Ghost of Tsushima, an open-world action-adventure game in which you play as Jin Sakai, one of the last samurai during the first Mongol invasion of Japan. With a huge open world that doesn't require any guidance to explore, as well as a heavy reliance on stealth, this game is shaping up to be a dark and historically accurate remix of the Breath of the Wild formula, and that's no bad thing. It's also one for the history buffs, as director Nate Fox has promised the team are totally devoted to reality and accuracy, doing the best job they can to keep the game feeling totally grounded in actual 13th century Japan, which sounds absolutely incredible. And as you can see from some of the gameplay footage in the background, the game looks beautiful. Definitely one to keep an eye out for, and one that I am really looking forward to when it releases on June 26th. Now, when it comes to modern story-driven games, none have hit quite as hard as The Last of Us. It took the gaming world by storm, and it's no surprise that Craig Mazin, the genius scriptwriter behind the recent Chernobyl series for HBO, has recently been hired to write a TV show adaptation. I mean, fans have been eager for a sequel since the minute they completed the original, but given just how many hot properties the developer Naughty Dog are juggling, it's taken a little bit of time. But after an arduous 7-year wait, Joel and Ellie's story will finally continue when Part 2 exclusively drops on PlayStation 4 on the 26th of June. That's 2 games now dropping on exactly the same date. June 26th is shaping up to be a treat for sure. Anyway, while the game looks to be mostly similar to the original, Naughty Dog have also promised it will greatly expand on the first installment, by giving the player, when playing as Ellie, the ability to traverse further than ever before by using her nimbleness to climb to higher vantage points and jump. it's pretty much the crossover with Assassin's Creed none of us knew we wanted. But seriously, I mean, the first game, again, another masterpiece. If you, for whatever reason, didn't play the first one, it's definitely something to go back and give a try. Developed by 343 Industries and published by Xbox Game Studios, how can we not be excited for an all-new Halo game? Coming to Xbox One, the Xbox Series X and Microsoft Windows, Halo Infinite will be the 6th game in the mainline series, and the first since 2015. Arriving sometime in the last quarter of the year, Halo Infinite was first announced at E3 2018, and has been shrouded in mystery ever since. But the one very short trailer we have seen has been enough to get fans excited. Since that trailer, we've had a few tiny slivers of info. We know Master Chief is back, we know it will be on the Xbox Game Pass at launch, and we know that anybody who buys it for Xbox One will get a free copy for the Series X if they ever upgrade, which is pretty damn awesome. Other than that though, we still have a lot of questions as to exactly what is Halo Infinite. Many people think it's going to be something of a spiritual reboot for the entire franchise, but I guess we'll have to wait and see when the game eventually releases. Another game from 2015 getting a much anticipated sequel this year is the awesome survival horror action game known as Dying Light. Now, the first game was interesting in the fact that it got some pretty weird reviews. The people who loved it really loved it, and there was also a group of people who didn't really like it. However, the sequel, coming to both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, is set a whopping 15 years after the original and stars all-new lead character, parkour expert Aiden Caldwell. Now, the game takes place in a very imaginatively named location called The City, an open world where players are free to explore in their own way. Something of a trend with all the AAA 2020 titles, it seems. Some criticism leveled at the original is that there wasn't much of a story, and what was, there was very minimal, but the development team Techland have promised us all the second game will be putting much more emphasis on a narrative, and to me that's very exciting. As many of you know, I'm a huge fan of open world games, considering I do cover a lot of them extensively on the channel, and if you're into games like this, zombie based open world games, this is definitely one you're going to enjoy. Coming up next, we have Outriders, and pretty much every shooter these days is first person, so we're excited to see Outriders mixing things up and going third person. Outriders is a looter shooter developed by the guys at People Can Fly and distributed by the legendary Square Enix. The basic gist of the story is that we humans try to colonize an alien world called Enoch, while encountering a mysterious energy storm known as the Anomaly. This curious event gives both Enoch's native inhabitants and the colonists intriguing superpowers, which overall gives an interesting shape and story to this game. There has been quite a few trailers for Outriders, which will be linked in the description and will have been playing on screen for you guys as well. And as for a release date, all we really have so far is September 2020. And in comes the honorable mention, and funnily enough, Horizon Zero Dawn was a game that flew over a lot of people's heads. Like, a lot of my friends who enjoy open world games never played the original, in which the first installment was one of the better games of 2017, which is crazy considering that year also gave us Resident Evil 7, Cuphead, games like Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and many more. Now, if a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn was guaranteed to be coming out this year, it 100% would have made the top half of our list. But seeing as it's only a whisper in the wind right now, it's just an honorable mention. The general feeling though is that there will be a sequel, and it may very well drop on the PlayStation 5 at launch later this year. Fingers crossed, guys. And for the final entry of the video, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, flight simulators have come a long way since the original Pilotwings, and no series absolutely nails the formula better than Microsoft Flight Simulator, and the latest in the franchise is looking to be the biggest yet. Now this game is definitely the one on this list you might not have thought we would include when you clicked on the video, but this game seriously looks like it's going to be the biggest technological leap in the history of simulation games. Basically, players will get to complete an explorable map of the entire planet, a one-to-one digital recreation of the whole Earth to zoom around and explore. And if that does not sound incredible to you, then I don't know what will. Now it may seem impossible, but given the game has been a decade in the making, substantial effort and manpower has gone into making this work. More than anything, I'm excited to see if Microsoft manages to pull this off and pretty much create every middle-aged dad's dream video game. By the way, it's scheduled for release sometime in October, with no specific release date as the time of recording this video. Now, which of these games are you most hyped for, and are there any that we didn't include you think we should have? Be sure to let us know in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.